I think it is time for NXT to take over.
Suplex City, bitch.
What's your favorite match?
My favorite match was with Melina and Alicia Fox.
Who?
I told my father I'm gonna set up my own lucha league in America, and I'm gonna make it the best league in the world.
I'm gonna leave him in a pile of blood and urine and vomit.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. The wrestling podcast will review Monday Night Raw and give all of you beautiful people the wrestling news of the week. That voice that you hear right now, the man who's just come off one hell of an interview, is Turbo Tony. And I'm here with the man who co-hosted such an awesome experience that we just had and you'll be hearing very soon. His name is Matt Marsander. How are you doing this week, Matt?
Yeah, very good. On the buzz now.
It is on the buzz. People may be wondering, what the fuck are we talking about here? That's probably what they're saying. You know, why are you guys so excited? That's probably what they're asking, Matt. Yeah? What?
Well, it sure as hell wouldn't be because of Raw.
No, it wouldn't be. Raw this week was abysmal. It was trash, shall we say. But of course, we're kind of giving away our thoughts a little bit too early, shall we say. We have a very big announcement to state here, a really good treat for you guys that have listened to this show for a while. And fuck it, let's talk about it now, will we, Matt? Will we get it over and done with? It's probably a big thing for our show, so shall we talk about it now?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time to do it. Guys, coming this Tuesday, after, so next Tuesday, I can't do the dates yet, whatever, it's Tuesday coming up. We contacted a very big wrestling podcaster. We never expected to hear back from said podcaster, and it turns out we did, and we just finished interviewing him. And the video of that
I was
interview,
going to say, you say interviewing, it was just, it started, just felt like a proper collab episode.
it was just, to be honest, it was just like a short collab episode that we managed to do for you guys. And we just literally just finished doing it now. We've known that this is possible for a little while, but we didn't want to say it until it was done. We didn't want to promote something that wasn't set in stone, was definitely going to happen, but it is happening, guys. Coming this Tuesday, Let's Talk Wrestling will have a video on this channel that will host Solomonster from the Solomonster Sounds Off. A very big podcast. A lot of you guys probably already know him. We literally just got finished talking to the guy. And it was a lot of fun. He's a great guy to speak to, and he was awesome for doing our podcast a great service in terms of actually coming on and talking to us, the little podcast that could, shall we call ourselves.
Yeah, exactly that.
You had a lot of fun, didn't you, Matt?
Oh yeah, it was good.
It was good. It was good fun, and it was a really good, just experience to be able to talk to him, get his views on some of the stuff that we're going to talk about as well this week. So that's going to be coming up in, like I said, just a couple of days. So that'll be up for you guys. You'll be able to enjoy that, and hell, we enjoyed it, so we know you guys will definitely enjoy it. So a big episode coming up there of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast coming next week for you guys. But that's not all. We have this week to talk about. We have people calling charities a scam. Oh yes. We have a certain racist rejoining the WWE network. A certain TNA star showing back up at NXT. Plus, we got our fan feedback, of course.
Turning back up at NXT.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you don't know about that. Well, I got to that. And guys, we have a return this week. No NXT report card. We only have the fail of the week, making its one-time appearance back on the show. Yes. Fail of the Week is back for this week. We will be doing that. And obviously, we've got our Raw review, in which case myself and Matt will probably sink our head into our hands and wonder, what went wrong?
Yeah. Raw happened. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on from that unfortunate happening. But like I said, we've got plenty to talk about. First of all, Matt, before we get into that, if they want to follow us on Twitter to find out about this awesome interview that we actually had done, what is the Twitter handle?
I mean, at Talk Wrestle Pod.
That is the one, Matt. That is it. That is it. And if you guys want to be a part of the show, or more importantly, not so much being a part of the show, but if you want the first ever Let's Talk Wrestling t-shirt, then you're in for a chance to get it. You send us 30 seconds of an introduction that you made for the show. 30 seconds or more. Doesn't really matter. It just needs to be around 30 seconds. You send it to us at letstalkwrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. And if you win that, Matt, they get the first Let's Talk Wrestling t-shirt. It's awesome. I'm putting the order in very soon for these shirts. For ourselves, of course, and obviously the winner of this particular contest. So it should be awesome. Everyone's going to love it. Just send your submissions to it there, and we can judge who is the winner of this competition. There's one other thing as well before we get to the wrestling, talking of the news and the such. I wanted to bring up the unfortunate audio quality of our review of NXT TakeOver Respect.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't up to par, and part of the reason of that is that we're trying to record on multiple systems, and my PC, we're having tons of problems with it. In fact, to the point that me and Matt have spent near on 2 hours, in total, myself and Matt coming in to try and fix the audio of it, to be able to get the audio fixed for our Solid Monster interview, which we did. As you'll hear from that interview, we did fix it. But we are still kind of going backwards and forwards in what we're using in terms of what we want to record with. So, yeah, apologies for that episode. And if anything happens like that again, more than likely we just won't release it. I think that's probably for the best. I think, Matt, you're kind of on the same page with that, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's
unfortunate.
I think people heard Matt's voice as if he was speaking through a megaphone. I think that was the issue that we had for some reason.
Hello, people of the internet.
You weren't so much speaking on a podcast, you were speaking directly into their minds. That's what
Yeah.
it was. Very loudly. And I barely was speaking at all. So I do apologise for that. And I know a lot of people wanted to hear our views on Respect, and unfortunately there's not much I can do with the audio with that. But in the future, hopefully that's been amended now. Hopefully we won't have that issue going forward again. Let's get to the news, Matt. We've got a big show to go on. We've already been talking for a while. We've got more talking to do. Matt, CM Punk has had an eventful week. And people might be saying, well, he's in UFC now. Why are you guys talking about him? Well, he's part of wrestling culture, of course. And the fact is that he did call out something that is currently involved in WWE. So I felt as if it was our right to bring it up. Because it is a bit of a touchy subject. And Matt knows what I'm talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Punk called out the Susan G. Komen charity, calling it a scam. Now, a lot of talk went around this, Matt. We haven't actually spoken about this ourselves.
No, we haven't.
I've got a view on this that might elaborate because I'm actually on Punk's side, which I'm very rarely on, right? People know that, I do like Punk, but some of these actions and stuff, I can understand why he did it. It wouldn't be what I have done myself. But here I do agree with what he said. But I'm going to go into more reasons. I'm actually going to explain why that is the case. And, what before I go into that, which is probably going to be quite a lengthy explanation, what was your general thought of it here about the what Punk said? Do you think it was over the line? Do you think he had a point saying what he had to say?
I think he did have a point, because unfortunately, with charities, they'll put on the good front, and that'll be that. I think we actually spoke about this last year. I think this is something that Punk frequently just pops up every now and then whenever Susan G. Komen rolls into town. It's just sort of like, they're money grabbers.
Yeah, it's the problems with Susan G. Komen. Now, let's talk about charities in general. Of course, I'm not going to say don't give money to charity. That's not what we're saying. And some of the less educated people immediately took to Punk with that, and they said, "Oh, you're so evil for saying not giving money to a charity." That's not what he's saying. All he's saying, and I'm saying, is pick your charity. Do your research. Okay? There are some charities that are more about building their brand rather than addressing the issue that they have attached themselves to. Susan G. Komen is less of a charity and more of a brand, okay? And you don't take my word for it. Go do your own research. It's very easy to do. And you can find, some details on what they do. And the controversies that have surrounded the Susan G. Komen for the Cure Foundation or charity, whatever they like to call themselves. And I'll run down some of them for you. When they go to certain companies like WWE, but they do some stuff with other like sports. I think they did something with MLB or something like that. Okay, And they do the pink stuff, and they say you buy the pink stuff, yeah, the pink shirts and everything like that, and that money goes to charity. Win-win. Everyone wins in that situation, right, Matt?
Yeah.
But that's not entirely true. Okay? If you pay $20 for a Roman Reigns pink t-shirt, you cannot anymore, after listening to this show, if you do this, you cannot be naive enough to think that every cent of that $20 you paid is going into the hands of researchers to stop breast cancer. In fact, a good portion of the money that you paid is going to Susan G. Komen, to the people that work for them, and to build their brand up. A lot of the money that gets funded in terms of these charities that, especially with Susan G. Komen, you get funded. There is a lot of discrepancies into the amount of merchandise being bought and the profits and the funds being made from that actually going to people in labs or people suffering from breast cancer that need quality of life. Not all of that money is going to them. And that's part of the issue here. Okay? And part of the issue as well with Susan G. Komen is that it seems as if a large part of the money goes to the people running Susan G. Komen. That they have some of the highest paid like CEOs and management officials of Susan G. Komen than any charity out there. Mm-hmm. So this means that a good portion of the money you're paying doesn't go to breast cancer research. It goes to fund the house of the person who started this charity, which obviously is wrong. And that's why CM Punk has come out and called it a scam. Okay? I don't know about you, Matt. You know that I've done some fundraising for a charity called EB, which isn't to do with cancer, but it's of a disease that some of my family deal with. And you know from, not just from me being biased, but you do your research, they're one of those companies that one of these charities, you put money into, a vast majority, over let's say 70% of that, is going to where you want it to be. And the rest of it is to keep the infrastructure alive. Okay, which, of course, that charity does need some money to keep itself afloat to get this other profit coming in. I'm not naive enough to think that, okay? But here's the thing. And you may be saying, so, okay, why do WWE pair up with Komen? Why is it them? They must know. Why do WWE pair up with Komen? And I can bring up a statement made by Stephanie McMahon that actually explains this to the T. Which is the future of marketing, or the future of branding, or whatever she said along those lines, is philanthropy. What that essentially means is the future of the marketing and the branding of your company is charity, and how much money you give to a charity. And it's not so much a charity that is effective at their objective, which is funding research and helping people that are suffering with a disease that they're helping with. It's because the reason that they pair up with Susan G. Komen is because they're the most well-known. It's got nothing to do whether or not they're effective. Because they're the biggest brand in America for breast cancer research. Mm-hmm. That's the reason WWE pairs with Komen, and why they don't pair with, let's say, a smaller, lesser-known charity that is far more effective at channeling its funds to the way it needs to go. That's just the nature of corporate America as it is now. That's the way things have evolved. I'm certainly not shocked by it, but when someone comes out and calls them out on it, that's just the bottom line. I don't think I can explain it in layman's terms any clearer than that. Is there any way that you think that you could add to that, Matt, at all? Or
no. I can't think of anything else to run for that.
I mean, I know, Matt, that we said here on the show, we do the Pink Week on our show, which, by the way, is coming up, right? Where we just do the text in pink. It's just our little thing that we do. We don't do it because it's Susan G. Komen that we're doing it for. We're doing it for, breast cancer awareness. We're not doing it for the charity. Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't put up the label of the company.
Yeah, because that would be silly. The fact is that Susan G. Komen is more of a brand than it is a charity now. Well, pretty much always, okay? And people are hopefully... any time now that you guys feel like you want to do some good and you want to fund or you want to do some fundraising possibly for a charity, it's very easy now to go and see if they've had any issues. The great thing about the internet now is that you can go and find legitimate websites that will list out all the issues that company, that charity has had, and any problems that they've had, or anyone calling them out, or funds that have gone missing for whatever reason. You can find shady practices pretty fucking quickly nowadays. So that's what I would urge everyone else to do. In nature of that, just to kind of go along these lines, like I said, EB is a charity that's very close to my heart. And Matt, is there any charities that are close that are close to you that you often go to at all?
I deal with Macmillan through work.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a cancer one, but it's not so much about the cure of cancer. It's just paying off nurses and that to help.
Yeah, the quality of life, isn't it? Yeah. Which I've got no problem for, funding going to as well. So yeah, that's fine. So there's two there that me and Matt have looked at, and we like to follow. So if you guys feel like that there's any sort of charities that you'd like other people to have more awareness about, share them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to have a look in regards to them. There are plenty of really good charities out there. Unfortunately, there are some which you can't call a charity; they are a brand. And that's just the bottom line of it there, unfortunately. Talking more about CM Punk. Oh yeah, he was in the news. He's injured, Matt. He is injured.
Yeah, I only saw that today. I haven't actually had a chance to look at it.
Now, he's only going to be injured. He's only going to be out for a month. So a lot of people saying that his injury being the reason why he's not going to perform in UFC this year is down to the injury. No, it just apparently the plan has always been for Punk to have his debut mid-2016. We're talking summer 2016.
Yeah.
And this will knock it back a month. So anyone saying that it was going to happen this year, it's not going to happen. And the injury doesn't have any sort of problem. It doesn't affect anything that badly. It wasn't as if he was going to start fighting. I knew by now anyway. And come on, we're in October now. They haven't announced a Punk fight. I knew from then. There's no fight.
Like we're not getting one anytime soon.
Yeah, we're not getting one this year. That's the way it is. They're going to do a very big marketing build-up for this fight, and they're not going to do it within 2 months. So that's just the way it is. The way that I look at the Punk situation is that, regardless of what we said about Punk before, about we thought that, with the things that went with WWE, obviously we wish that for both parties it ended a little bit better. But I'm not going to sit here and deny that his debut in UFC is going to be really interesting, and I'm going to buy that pay-per-view. Like, some people may have thought, we're not that interested. Yeah, I'm going to watch CM Punk have his first fight. I'll probably buy that show. What about you, Matt? Will you be buying that show that Punk debuts on?
Probably not.
You're probably not going to.
No, I'll definitely be seeing it.
Sure, there'll be enough clips for you to see, and I'll explain it to you in vivid detail anyway, what happened. So, but I'm a fan of UFC, and I'm a fan of Punk, and it was just interesting to see him in this different environment. So I'm sure that no matter who he goes against, and what time he goes against someone, it will be entertaining at very least. So there is that. Hulk Hogan, some of his parts of the network, some of the documentaries and the stuff dedicated to him and his career, I started popping back up on the network. Oh yeah, so we might jump the gun and start saying that this is clearly WWE are getting back in bed with Hulk Hogan. And while I have no doubt that eventually down the line Hulk Hogan may make a reappearance, a couple of years I'd say, until he can successfully shed this. What was that?
He's apparently in talks with going back to Impact.
Oh yeah, but still, even then, once WWE comes calling or anything, he'll go to them, right?
Yeah. He's not the only person looking to go that Impact have come crawling back to.
Yeah, right. Obviously WWE are now happy that the initial tidal wave of media coverage on his racist remarks is over. So they feel happy enough putting that stuff back on there. Yeah. By no means does this think they're going to start bringing him back in for interviews and shit. That's not going to happen. But
yeah, he's not going to be rolling out at WrestleMania 32.
No, he's not going to be on the opening segment of WrestleMania 32. It's just not going to happen. But it's along the lines of, you have to think, personally, I don't think that his stuff should have been removed off the network. Because, and some people may be very against that, and obviously use your prerogative. I'm certainly not saying that his actions are any less disgusting, because they certainly are. But it's not so much about Hogan or his content. It's just wrestling content in general.
Yeah.
Removing that from the network, I believe, is counterproductive to people that have bought the network, that want to view this stuff for whatever reason, right? Maybe they're perversely interested in what Hulk Hogan, has he made anything? Did he look at a black man the wrong way, sort of thing, right? It's that sort of thing that they. I don't think they should remove this stuff off the network. There was talk before the network came out whether they're not going to have any matches involving Chris Benoit, and I thought that was ludicrous. Just put it in there.
And lo and behold, there's Benoit matches.
Yeah, right. I don't think that anything should have been taken off the network, unless someone finds at a later state that it's it's disgusting. For some reason it's out of taste. But there's certainly a lot more in WWE that's in.
Well, it's not out of the realm of WWE to edit things anyway.
Yeah, the network isn't exactly unedited, is it?
I saw something on YouTube recently, and I was like, I remember, and they were like, oh, if you haven't seen it, if you didn't see it live, you won't ever see it. And it's like, do you remember the Mickie James and Trish match at WrestleMania 20? Was it Hollywood?
I'm not entirely sure which one it was.
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
But it was one of those, but the finish was because Mickie James had inappropriately grabbed at Trish's woohoo. And WWE have completely edited that out.
Oh yeah, no, I do know what you're talking about now. I think, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they literally, it was a bit vulgar, wasn't it? But I even then, I don't think they should have edited it out. They should have just kept it. So it's a bit of a shame that they've done it along those lines.
Considering, we're a TV PG company. Well, at the time you weren't. So are you gonna deny us all of your back catalogue that wasn't TV PG?
That's exactly right. They've got plenty of TV. They've got plenty of teen rated and 14.
TV 14. Yeah, I mean, hell, if they're going to do that, the network's only going to be PG. Well, you're not really going to be putting a lot on your network, are you?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So, that's the thoughts of it. In general, there. I just don't. I didn't like the way that they removed it anyway. And let's say that someone, for some reason something comes out. We still want to be able to view the stuff. The network, we're buying it for a certain reason that it's got all this wrestling content on there. And I can. It's not going to offend me to watch a Hulk Hogan match knowing what he's done. I can put aside. I'm just coming out right.
I can forget that he's a racist bigot.
The fact is that I can watch a Hulk Hogan match and enjoy the match itself and still think, okay, this guy is racist. I'm not stupid enough to be offended that I saw Hulk Hogan in a match. I just thought it was a little bit. Not overboard, but I think it was. I wouldn't have done it myself, but there we go. But it's back on now anyway, and I'm sure WWE obviously they're quite happy that the initial wave of media coverage over Hogan is now gone.
The thing is, the thing that's a bit disappointing is that through this whole thing, I heard that it had been taken off, but at no point while it was up there in the first place was I searching for anything to do with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I don't know. I with the whole situation, I just dislike the fact that WWE has ultimate control over this on the network, and if they decide they don't want something on there, then they can get rid of it.
That's why it's coming off.
Yeah, I dislike that, to be honest. But there we are. You could say that the storm is settling for Hogan, especially on the media coverage. But the storm is not settling in NXT. Oh no, it's not. James Storm. Do you like that? Yeah. Do you like that? I thought you might like that. James Storm arrives in NXT. He is now not officially with the company. He showed up for their taping. He will be on NXT next week. So we'll be enjoying that. It should be a good episode because Nia Jax is debuting on that show as well. But yeah, apparently this has caused TNA to go in a little bit of haywire. They're urgently trying to get James Storm back. I think it's too late. James Storm wanted to get the hell away from TNA, so I don't think he's going back. Yeah. And this opens up a lot of avenues for James Storm to do more work with NXT down the line. So, what do you think about James Storm in NXT? Do you think this is do you think it was How do you think it was? Do you think it was a bit of a fire at TNA? Do you think it was, or do you think it was a more of Storm?
I find it funny because like Kayfabe News put this up as like essentially they're like Dixie Carter is slowly but surely invading NXT.
Yeah,
and it's like you've got Samoa Joe, and now you had Xavier Woods, but let's forget about that.
Yeah,
but like recent signings, so you had Samoa Joe, now you got James Storm. You had who are those two guys in the Dusty Rhodes Classic?
Oh, Tommaso and Ciampa, yeah.
Yeah. Who at one point, considering the way that the recordings worked, Ciampa was on both shows.
Yeah, he pulled a Rick Rude on us, didn't he?
That's it.
It's Kayfabe News is excellent, by the way, so definitely go out and view that. But it's one of those things where, like James Storm going to NXT, I'm sure that he's got no intentions of going back to TNA unless they throw a lot of money at him. Money I don't think TNA's got. But yeah, no, I think this is awesome. I think James Storm being on NXT, that's quite interesting. I'll be more interested to see what he's going to do more. Who knows, Matt? We might get James Storm in London with NXT. Who knows?
The thing I find quite funny is they're bringing in all these big guys, but it's like it's only literally just dawned on me that I sort of can't help but feel that maybe WWE are drowning themselves in talent. Because then it's like we were like, oh, we're gonna have like as a result of this tournament, like it's gonna go ahead and Balor's gonna lose for him and Joe, and Joe's gonna turn on Balor, and that's how we were thinking, and it's like that's how it's gonna go. And now it's like, oh no, they've got Apollo Crews, right? That's cool. So what's Joe gonna do? As a big name in NXT. And it's like, we're bringing in another guy who's also famously known for being outside of the company. Oh, okay. What are we going to do with him? I don't know.
Yeah, it's all about how they use them, isn't it? Yeah.
It's kind of the same with Apollo Crews.
Well, I think Apollo Crews is a little bit different because, he is a future prospect. By no means is Samoa Joe or James Storm future prospects. They're to work for the now. Whereas, Cruz is a prospect that they could possibly get a lot of money from down the line. But
he's one that's come with a very big indie following.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I think it's along the lines of that NXT is WWE's way at battling the indie scene and trying to get some of those fans in that they possibly have lost through the main roster, right? So then bringing these guys in.
Don't give up on the company completely. Look, we've still got NXT. Yeah. It's almost like begging.
The way the ratings for Raw have been recently, that might be the case. But
True.
I'm very interested to see Storm in NXT. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I think actually he's a great fit for NXT because he could pull off whatever role they want to. And James Storm for me was one of the guys that I always enjoyed watching at TNA, no matter what batshit angle he was doing. If he was put up in these really crazy situations. Storm was pretty decent, and obviously with Beer Money, he was quite a lot of fun in Beer Money as well. So
I forgot it was in Beer Money.
Yeah, because he's so good as a singles guy. I tend to, whenever I think of James Storm now, I think of him as a singles competitor. It's very rarely I think of him with Beer Money anymore, even though they were great as Beer Money. But
they were with ODB, weren't they?
Well, I don't know, to be honest.
Beer Money with ODB?
I never saw them with ODB, but to be honest, I've missed a lot of TNA since...
That would make sense. I'm just clutching at things. I don't know. Hell, I've never been one to turn around and say I am the most knowledgeable of TNA.
No, I think both of us...
It would just seem to make sense that with ODB.
We've both raised our hands up with that and said, we are... we're not exactly the most avid followers of the TNA product, shall we say, but still. Right, is there any other news that you want to talk about, Matt, or is there anything that you found that I didn't?
Would have been Eddie's birthday the other day.
Whose birthday?
Eddie's.
Oh, that's sad. You made me sad now, Matt.
But no. Oh, Batista got married. Woo.
Okay, congratulations on that.
Yeah. No more divas for Dave.
No more Melina for him, shall we say? But yeah, but still.
No, I can't say I've come across any.
Paige getting angry that Rosa Mendez wasn't helped on their play.
Oh, I didn't give a fuck about that.
Nah, neither did I. I thought, to be honest, like, there are rules and regulations. I didn't blame, like, yeah, it's a stupid rule, but the people working on that plane, they've got to abide by the rules that have been set for them. It sucks, but still. Okay, are you ready for our fan feedback?
This is what's going to get her in trouble. She's going to be telling people on Facebook to fuck off and swearing at flight attendants.
Fun. Fun. Because apparently she's in the hot water, but we'll talk about that with her match going down. Are you ready for our fan feedback?
I am indeed.
Oh, good. Crimson Omega has a few things he's learned from the Divas Revolution so far.
That it doesn't exist and it's a load of shit.
Well, he's got a list, so I'm going to go through them.
Okay.
1, nothing changed when Charlotte won the belt, which is true.
Yeah.
2, Charlotte is Ric Flair's daughter, which, to be honest, to me is completely news. I didn't know that anyway, to be honest. That was quite
well done.
Becky Lynch apparently wants to be a pirate or is secretly Captain Jack Sparrow. My response to that is, in which case I would gladly fuck Johnny Depp if that is the case, because she's quite a good look. Quite, if she's trying to be Jack Sparrow, if she's Captain Jack Sparrow, I'd have sex with a Jack Sparrow that looked like that. Jeez.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt. I'll stand by what I said.
I would.
You don't know what the fuck.
I don't have anything to say. Yes, I would do unspeakables. But
let's move on, shall we?
You're comparing it as Jack Sparrow. It's like, no.
Moving on. Paige is heel 1 week, face another week, then heel again.
Yep.
Big Show obviously worried about his turn record, shall we say. And finally,
Team Henry.
Yeah, and that, yeah. Team Bad want no part of this BS and are more entertaining in a backstage feud with the New Day. And
yes, true.
That is quite true, to be honest. Seeing some of the guys dressed up as Team Bad and stuff was.
It's not even those guys. Like, have you seen? There was Cesaro.
Yeah.
I was like, that's gold.
That is gold. So his actual question is, he says, his actual comment was, there was actually a video on WWE.com showing Rollins escaping from hell last week on Raw. That was to our message of how did he escape. My response to that is just the fact that it was on the website and not on the show means it may as well just have happened on SmackDown, right? It's irrelevant. I know they might have put it up on their Facebook pages and all that garbage. To me, that is not how you should be explaining your story to the crowd, but
yeah,
still. BX Girl HS, I still don't know if I'm saying that right, so by all means, correct me if I'm not. Left a bunch of comments here, which I did enjoy. They gave their predictions for NXT Respect and hopes that WWE turns Sasha Banks face, especially with her support from the fans, and also bring up the chance of Team Bad breaking up and having a feud with Naomi. Now, how do you feel about a Sasha Banks Naomi feud, Matt?
I don't.
You don't?
Unfortunately. No.
Really? I disagree. I think that's probably...
I mean, I think I would enjoy it, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm just I want more. After NXT and all the things I've seen from the NXT women's division, I want more of that. I don't want more what could essentially just turn into petty squabbles.
Yeah, the way that I said it back then is that you do the Nation of Domination thing, where Naomi, she thinks she is the leader, the most experienced one of that group. And
the thing is, they did that on Raw, considering Team Bad had their match, and it was Sasha who's saying, even though Naomi's technically the leader of Team Bad, there is Sasha going, "Oh, you're holding the belt for me."
Yeah, but they need to play up of it a lot more. I don't think they've done nearly enough. If they're going for that dynamic, then I think they need to start really playing on that a lot, to be honest.
And they need to have petty squabbles, which is what I don't want.
I don't know. Maybe we're just on two different sides of it.
Bitch fights anymore. I'm so tired of it.
WWE has ruined you when it comes to it. You just got no...
Dude, I skipped that match.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you, to be honest, but still.
I was like, promo, cool, ding, 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 skip.
Yeah. Moving on from that, Draven G asks our thoughts on a potential Balor Club stable. and who would be a part of it. My thoughts on a Balor Club stable is I don't think NXT needs a group like that at the moment. I think that the roster is just a little bit thin at the moment. He's using it as like a fan interaction thing, and I think that's exactly the way it should be going forward. Like all of his fans.
I am a fan of Balor, therefore I am part of the Balor Club.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? You know, if it was to happen, though, you can't have the Balor Club. I think the only way that works is that if you have it, obviously him as the head, because otherwise it'd be stupid him having the Balor Club and him not being the leader, right? But you have to be heel, and I'd put someone like Jordan and Gable with him, and then they're going for a stranglehold over NXT, trying to go for those tag team and worlds and the NXT championships. You know, maybe give them Dana or Emma as their female contingent. Maybe that's probably what I would probably run with. But I don't think that's particularly something NXT needs or what they're even thinking of going through. But that's probably who I would put in there.
Yeah, I don't think it's a necessary thing.
That's it. Lost Project says that we forgot to talk about the Carlito news with him rejecting WWE's apparent low money offer.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So this came out last week that apparently WWE had got in contact with Carlito. They put an offer on, and the offer did not impress Mr. Caribbean Cool, shall we say. As
he did not think it was cool.
He could not buy enough apples with the paycheck they were offering to give to him. I don't know how much he's making, but it is possible to make more on the independent scene than you can with WWE. I know that might shock a lot of people, but it is possible. In fact, Daniel Bryan talks about that in his new book, right? That
Owens mentioned that as well.
Yeah, you can make more money. It's more work, but you can make more money, right? And it's obviously not as secure. You get injured, you're fucked, right? If you're in the indies, you can't work, right? That's the way it is. But I get the feeling, man, I don't know about you, from how I perceive Carlito to be as a person, I don't think his issues are with the money, per se. I think maybe he wanted a better offer, of course. But I think that his issue is the sort of workplace he'd be walking into.
Yeah. Do you know one thing I remember seeing recently? It flashed up on my Facebook feed, but do you remember when Ric Flair went absolutely berserk at him on Raw?
Yes, yeah.
And I was like, I love this.
But you can't do that kind of thing now, right? Because it's just a different show. And I think that Carlito looks at the show. He dislikes it being the PG environment, the over-scripting, some of the thought of not being in control of his own fate, right? Which is an issue. I think a lot of that puts him off. And yeah, I'm not saying he's not ever going to come back. They might give him an offer he just can't refuse. But it's something that I don't see. If he does come back, I don't see him enjoying it after the first couple of months. You know, I think there's a lot of issues that Carlito dislikes with WWE outside of the money he was receiving from them. So that may play into it more than
I
some
find
people
it
think.
funny that WWE can. I don't be really bad and shit on the guy, but I find it difficult that WWE thought that Carlito would be the way to go.
Yeah, it's a little bit along the lines of that. Maybe they had the thought of like an idea that they could do with him and something along those lines. But yeah, to be honest, I thought it was a bit strange them making an offer to Carlito. But who knows? You know, who knows?
We're gonna bring in Carlito, because we're gonna pop like crazy for him.
But they've got Primo and Epico on the roster. Who knows? Maybe they were thinking of maybe making him like they've gone heel now. Maybe making him the leader of their group or something. Maybe they had some sort of plan. We don't know. But I tell you what, if he does come back and he leads the Los Matadores, then man, I've got no intention. They just have to change. No more Los Matadores. That's how. I like it.
That's the simple thing.
Is there anything else you want to talk about that, or any other questions before we move on?
Nope.
No.
I honestly couldn't care. I read it and I'm like, I don't care.
Matt, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. Have you had a hard week?
Yeah, relatively difficult.
Yeah. Do you think that that's when you get up, you've been a bit stiff sometimes?
Look at the aches and the pain. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Do you ever feel that when you're watching wrestling, you have a bulging and throbbing sensation? You don't like where this is going, do
No.
you? Well, Matt, the fail of the week involves something very akin to what I've just asked you. And I wanted to bring it up here for the fail of the week. Guys, in WCW, of course I was going to WCW, of course, by the way. It is the birth child of Vince Russo, of course. The father of many fails of the week on this show. Who dreamed up this storyline and presented it as a smelly turd to the world of professional wrestling. And it is the infamous Viagra on a pole match.
Yeah.
Now you know why I was asking those questions.
Yeah.
Now this particular match did give me a throbbing sensation. I will admit that here, but it was more of the throbbing of my headache, sort of not in regards to the excitement of my genitalia over this particular match.
And the worst thing is, like, it's a stipulation that has now been completely overshadowed by the fact that all I can think of whenever I hear the Viagra on a pole match is the bottle of Geritol on a pole.
From Austin's rip
From
of
Austin's
Bischoff.
rip, yeah.
That's brilliant, yeah. Now let me explain. How did this Viagra on a pole match come to fruition? How did it surface? Oh, get ready, guys, get ready. So Billy Kidman loses his woman, Tori Wilson, which obviously is a very attractive woman, of course, but loses her to Shane Douglas, okay? So she's gone and attached herself to him. However, footage emerges of Kidman back when he was with Tori Wilson, satisfying her in the bedroom, shall we say. Mm-hmm. Okay. He was able to rise to the occasion. Okay. So there is that. And then once this rivalry starts, you've got, Douglas throwing the fact that he's got Tori Wilson now in Kidman's face. Even though you've got Billy Kidman, hanging out with the Nitro girls backstage, so everything seems to be going up for Kidman, right? Yeah. Another tape of Douglas emerges, and he's attempting the same to satisfy the sexual urges of Tori Wilson, but he cannot rise to the occasion. And by the way, if you can't rise to the occasion with a woman that looks like Tori Wilson, then there is something wrong with you. Yeah. Okay, let's just say that. So this leads to the Viagra on a pole match, where both men fought tooth and nail over a badly labelled bottle of Viagra.
This is like the worst part is just like, they sometimes on various on our pole matches where they were just contract written out the side of it. It's just like, there's that sort of moment is like, it really is Viagra, I promise. I'm not lying.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone printed out just a word of Viagra and strapped it to a bottle and put some
printed it? Hell, they may as well have just gone at it with a magic marker.
That's it. So essentially, this entire rivalry and match was an idea that Russo could make plenty of penis jokes on Nitro and have Tori Wilson involved in a sex angle on his show, of which, by the way, he liked having a lot of that with the women. His general thought of the women is they're there to get their tits out to get fans, right? Yeah. That's basically what his thoughts on women. It was degrading, boring, damn near farcical. Sorry, it was farcical. Let's just make that. And it was pretty embarrassing. And now, if you want to, on the WWE Network, you can watch Billy Kidman make bad jokes about that angle, saying he's got a stiff neck and all that sort of stuff. And you can watch a part of his soul drift away when he remembers that he was involved in the only Viagra on a pole match. So that makes for some hard talking there by us. It's a stiff situation to talk about, I guess. Hopefully it can only go up from here. And I'm trying to think of more. But
I'm trying to think as well.
We apologise, guys, but come on, on this show, whenever we get the idea that we want to do penis jokes, then come on, we're going to do it. All right? Seth Rollins started this, okay? Right? Wasn't us. So, There we are. Blame it on him. Of course, blame it on him. I would say, would you like to talk any more about that Viagra and a pole match? But I can pretty much guess your answer to be a big fat no.
Hell no.
No. Let's get into oh god. Maybe we should talk about that. Let's get on to Raw this week. We are still on the road to Hell in a Cell. We're currently in the midst of Brock Lesnar's Go to Hell tour, which has basically says that he's going to be on this show, right? The primary concern for Raw is that the constant dropping ratings that they've been having, they actually went up this week, not by much, but still, I imagine that the
not by much, but then guess what? It'll probably go back down again next week.
Yeah, especially after this show. Jeez,
That
I imagine the steam coming out of Vince McMahon's head is going down a little bit from near breaking point over the slight bump in the rating there.
Yeah.
There's an interesting stat regarding Seth Rollins since his last 16 matches, live and on television. Would you like to know how many matches in the last 16 Seth Rollins has won?
He hasn't won any, has he?
No, he has won.
He has won one, wasn't it?
He's won one match.
Yeah.
Out of 16, he's won one and lost 15. His only victory was against the Stinger. That's right, Sting. That was his only victory in the last 16 matches he's had. That is not how you book a world champion. Yeah? World champions technically are the world champions because they are the best. I know he's a heel, and he should be losing more matches than a face champion would anyway. But 1 out of 16 matches? That, to me, there's something wrong. You know? And they wonder why he can't get over the same sort of way that John Cena can.
Yeah, because you're not treating him like that.
Yeah, we said back then, you know, it helps if you want this guy to be as over as John Cena if you don't let John Cena pin him multiple times in the month, you know. There is that. This show emanated from Boston, which obviously is the hometown of the boss, Sasha Banks, and John Cena. Of course, they treated both of these people with the hometown respect that they deserve. Well, they treated Sasha Banks with that, but it's John Cena.
Did they really? Because I can't help but feel they were really quiet for Sasha.
I thought they were okay with Sasha. Not as bad as they were for Cena, jeez.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But to be honest, the fact is that John Cena, he just gets that reaction no matter where he is. Doesn't even matter if it's his hometown, so there you go. Brock Lesnar kicks off the show. I was absolutely sure they fucked up his pyro on the way in because the camera angle was ready for it, ready to capture it in all of its firework glory, but it never went off, so there is that. Heyman rescues Raw as soon as he grips a mic, and he tells us that all the focus goes to Hell in a Cell after Lesnar swept Big Show aside, and he did in a matter of minutes. It was quite shorter than I thought it would be, actually. He says, since November 1990, no one has ever gotten away with a victory without a beating from The Undertaker, but Brock Lesnar considers Hell in a Cell to be the lair of the beast. That's right. He says everyone thinks that Hell in a Cell is The Undertaker's match. His ass it is, he says, and he points to WrestleMania being Taker's event until Lesnar got involved. This was an awesome promo from Heyman, as you would imagine. He does go on, says more stuff. He says a lot of the lines of that, the first time that Undertaker and Lesnar met at WrestleMania 30, it caused him 1 week on the hospital, a year on the shelf, and a hell of a lot of sleepless nights. And says that he's not dead man enough to get revenge on Lesnar. So, Paul Heyman, ladies and gentlemen, proving to everyone that you can have good promos on Raw. It just has to be him that does it, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, it's unfortunate that he's the only one that seems to be able to pull it off nowadays, right? It kind of made me sad that last week we had the opportunity for the same thing until Big Show got involved, but that's Big Show for you.
And it's only just like, well, fuck off.
Yeah, oh, God, yeah. Talking of Big Show, he does come out, and he's telling everyone here that he plays down his trip to Suplex City, says, it wasn't that bad, and I'm like, come on, Show. The travel brochure is very accurate on what to expect from Suplex City. A lot of suplexes, right? So what it says on the travel is, welcome to Suplex City, Mayor Brock Lesnar, we give suplexes. That's the tag of it. Okay?
Yeah.
More than helping. Maybe we need to make a travel advert for Suplex City for the Big Show, so he understands what you get into when you visit said Suplex City. It's not hard, but still. Show says he was this close, he says, to beating Brock Lesnar. It certainly seemed that way after 3 choke slams. Didn't even look like he was going to beat the guy, but still.
Yeah, I was this close. Really? You usually can finish someone with 1.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
And then Big Show goes all face on us when he tries to shake Brock Lesnar's hand. Lesnar, of course, laughs it off. Why does he have to waste a handshake on the Big Show, of course? And then Show turns around and tells him that he hopes The Undertaker beats him again. Now, Matt, I actually can translate what he said into ancient Arabic. Are you ready?
Okay.
Are you ready for this? I'm very fluent, by the way, in ancient Arabic, if people didn't know. And it is the following. I wish to be suplexed, Mayor Lesnar. I like it long time. I love suplexes. That's what he said in ancient Arabic, okay?
Dude. Considering I love long time is a bit more Asian-y, but okay.
Well, I'm just saying, hey, it's only what I had come up with my vastly great translating skills. So, of course, by the way, Mayor Lesnar is a frequent speaker of ancient Arabic, so he succumbs to the request of his constituent and gives Big Show the suplexes he loved. He loved it long time. Yeah. So, good for Big Show. Good for Big Show, shall we say, but still. For that one fan that thinks I actually know ancient Arabic, of course I do. You're the one right person, and there's no sarcasm in that statement whatsoever. Moving forward, Matt, do you know ancient Arabic?
I do not.
No, you don't. I'll have to teach you one day.
Okay.
Funny enough, it tends to be translated into
maybe one afternoon.
It tends to be translated into whatever I kind of want it to be. It's funny how it works out that way, right? It's it's good. Seth is backstage, which is the frequent backstage segment that he has with the Authority after the opening segment. He says that Big Show is clearly unable to compete, even though he only got an F5. Well, he got 2, didn't he? I think he got 2, right?
Did he?
Or did you just get the 1?
I think he just got the 1.
Just got the 1. Maybe I'm thinking of MSG, yeah, because he gave him 2 at MSG.
Yeah, it's like he took 1 F5. We can't possibly do it now.
Yeah, it's like Big Show is clearly unable to compete, despite the fact he took less of a beat. Sorry, he took more of a beating at Madison Square Garden and was able to get back to his feet after it was done. Right?
Yeah.
But here, when he has 2.5 hours near to recover from the said beating from Brock Lesnar, no, he's clearly unable to compete. He won't be on the rest. The guy is broken. Right?
That's it. He's gone. I'm surprised they didn't stretcher him out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it might as well pronounced him dead. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was very odd. Reigns, Ambrose, and Orton versus the Wyatts, the opening match of the show. So we're getting Reigns and Wyatt in a cell, Hell in a Cell match.
Yep.
I thought it would have been better to maybe have had a 6-man Hell in a Cell match. Would have been a little bit more different. Would have been a little bit more interested in it. But still, sure, fair enough. Hopefully they could steal the show, but they have to do it on their own wrestling ability and not off the storyline, because there is no storyline, really.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I'm not excited for it, because it goes back to my usual I don't like themed pay-per-views. It's like, it's Hell in a Cell. We have to have a Hell in a Cell match, but the match doesn't warrant a Hell in a Cell match. Fuck it, just make it really personal. That'll make it a Hell in a Cell worthy. Oh, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's... Now, this one is a little bit like... At least it's got like a long-standing rivalry. It doesn't look like it's going to end unless they kill each other. So
it's gone on for a while. I get that, but...
I think it's along the lines of that... It's got none of the anger and the flair that the Rollins and Ambrose storyline had last year when they had that awesome Hell in a Cell match last year. Just doesn't have the same sort of thing. I thought this match, though, was decent enough. Had some good, hard-hitting action. Reigns pins Harper after a spear. They kept Strowman strong here. He didn't look bad at all. And in terms of keeping people strong, I'm sure Roman Reigns knows how that feels himself because of all that time. Neville versus Sheamus. Oh dear. This, by the way, was when the show...
This didn't happen.
Oh, but it did. Oh, yes, it did.
Happen. No.
We talked about this in a little bit of depth with our talk with Solomonster, of course. But we'll talk about it now. This is when the show decided that it wasn't going to try, and it was going to be utter trash here on out. Raw this week was awful, just overall. And I said, oh, you may say, oh, he said that match had some decent action. Yeah, it did. That was at the start of the show. The rest of the show is pretty shit all over. There's just no way of getting around it, right? So Sheamus comes out, calls out Boston for pretending to be Irish. Then he calls Neville a leprechaun and says that his pot of gold is in his briefcase. Well, I added that last part, but if he's going to hang on these Irish stereotypes, he may as well go all the way, so I'll add it in there for him a little bit. My wife, who is Irish, by the way, hates the fact that he comes out saying this shit. She finds it a little bit insulting. So, make of that.
Oh, you mean she doesn't like the beats of the Baron?
No, she doesn't.
That's not actually an Irish thing.
Or was it that she revealed to me that the brogue kick means the foot kick?
Yeah.
So, congratulations. There you go. So Barrett is on commentary. Apparently he tries to help Neville, which is a bit odd. Barrett, by the way, is acting extremely face, which obviously is false for now, of course.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lie.
And then Neville, 5 seconds into the match, gets the bro kick, and he's beaten. Oh yes, he got the Daniel Bryan treatment. Bar a nice kiss off AJ Lee, really. But I'm sure that Wade Barrett would have done the duty if they had asked him to. You know, lay a smacker on Neville. That will shock a lot of people, not just him, right? You know. No, I'm guessing you're not up for that then, no.
No, I don't want that ever to happen again.
Some man-on-man English-on-English action? No?
That's one thing I find quite funny. Is just like I'm surprised JBL didn't explode with like rugby references or something. Just like there's two English.
Yeah, to be honest, he probably was like he had a stress ball, right, and he was just like working that motherfucker to the bone, trying to suppress these sports references he craved to give us all. So
that's it.
That's what
I'm genuinely shocked he didn't make some arsehole reference about like, oh, like Neville's been knocked out like England's hope in the World Cup.
That would have been a bit too poignant for us, wouldn't it? Really. But yeah, and one of the things that we spoke to in that interview was how the hell is Neville supposed to get over when this sort of shit happens? And it's one of the things. It's really bad. One of the things that you can say of Neville overall is that he's not being booked that well. But one of the great things about him is that at the very least you're going to get a good match out of him, right? He's going to do some stuff that will wow you. He'll do some stuff that no one else can do on that roster. He didn't even get time to do anything in this match. He just bro kick done. To the point it was like, why did you even make the match? You know? The
thing is, I instantly knew it. I was like, hang on a second. Neville's getting the job entrance. Oh, then the moment like Barrett was like, I'm going to go and have a word with him, I was like, oh no, it genuinely is a job.
Yeah, that's it. So I laughed here when Cole said, in the about 5 seconds of this match, by the way, that Neville was holding his own in the matchup. As if it went long enough to have any analysis whatsoever. So, yeah. There's Cole for you. There you go. By the way, I'm going to rant on this commentary team this week. It's coming.
Yeah, but that's something for later on.
That's it. Kane is in the ring. This is the middle of the show, by the way, that we're on now. So this is the point now where they want to be able to secure you for the rest of this show. Okay? They want to get you really into it. I think this is the start of the second hour that this happened, okay? So Kane is in the ring. He's wearing a boot to protect his leg after the beating he took last week, of course. Even though apparently he has magic abilities that unbreak his leg.
No, he doesn't, because that's not him.
Oh, really? Really?
You're not listening to the story, Tony.
Oh.
He is not the demon. He is just all corporate.
Now, what you should have done there is done a Vince McMahon impression, and that's exactly what Vince would have said to me if I'd said that to him. So, damn it! You know, no way to go with it. I won't do it now.
Ryder, damn it!
It'll rip my voice. We've been talking now for like a very long time, so I'm trying to keep my voice okay as we carry on. So he volunteers for the position of being Seth Rollins' partner in the tag team match later on in the night. Because remember, Big Show is so destroyed from earlier on that he can't possibly be in that match. Rollins comes down, he's having none of it, and he says that Kane is no Tom Brady, sorry. Even though they both have deflated balls, Kane cannot lie and cheat his way into getting what he wants. So, sports reference that Matt, no doubt, didn't understand what that was all about.
I know who Tom Brady is.
But do you know what he was referencing?
No.
Exactly. Deflategate, Matt. Do you not know Deflategate?
I've heard of it.
No? What do you think it is?
I can only imagine it's a slight deflation of the ball to allow for a bit of grip up on it.
So you don't even have to know, Matt. You already know what it is anyway. You know? But there we go. I'm not going to bring up Deflategate here on whether or not I think Tom Brady is a cheater or not, because you know what, I actually have like in-laws that are in Boston, and if he hears that, I'm going to get one hell of a debate next time he comes over. So,
because I just remember the Family Guy episode where you've just got, "Hey Brady, what suit do you want to be buried in?"
Well, my nephew-in-law is called Brady because of Tom Brady.
Oh yeah,
so I kind of can't say anything.
You telling me that,
right? So. There is that. Lovely kid, by the way. So, still, just want to bring that in. So, Kane says he wants to be the best director of operations he can be. Tells us about a poster in his office, Matt, that says, "Nothing else matters apart from the man you see in the mirror." Inspirational stuff from Kane. Inspirational. But unfortunately, it was quite boring as well. So
that's not what he said.
Yeah, well, no.
No, it was sort of like the person like you need to be, but sometimes you have to go through hell, and he starts getting a bit twisted. And then he's like, "And that's the poster."
Oh, okay. Well, I must have misheard what was going on there. Maybe I tuned out. To be honest, that's probably what it was.
I wouldn't have blamed you.
Yeah, to be honest. It was fine playing this card for a week or two, but now it's come to the point where the story needs to evolve and not do the same thing they'd done for the last 2 weeks. It was funny back then. And it's just kind of getting a little bit old now. Stephanie comes down, tells us that Rollins sent the complaint last week, and then she places her tongue firmly on Tom Brady's asshole. I haven't said that in a while, Matt. I always love it when I can bring back the old ones. Oh, by the way, as I do that, Sasha Banks and Bayley NXT was a humdinger of a match.
To bring back the old references, yeah.
Yeah, got to do it. I've got to do it. She... basically he's dressing down Rollins for talking about Brady. And then Cole tells us on commentary that she's a famous New England Patriots fan. So famous, I don't think or anyone that knew that she was. So
No, I had no idea.
Yeah. Stephanie continues the proud tradition, a very proud and illustrious tradition, now being followed by WWE. Now I think of it, it's a bit of a shame I didn't bring this up in that interview, actually. But of number one contenders for the World Championship, they haven't had any matches to earn that match.
Yeah. Just you, because I said so.
Yeah, exactly. Kane is the newest in a long line of number one contenders that hasn't wrestled a single match to earn that title shot. So yeah, there you are. Kane Rollins for the World title Hell in a Cell. She says that if Kane doesn't win, he'll be relieved of his duties. Matt, do you fancy a world title shot? I can tell you how to get one. Do you think you can take on Seth Rollins for the world title?
I reckon I could.
Yeah, I reckon you've got a good chance. Well, all you have to do is have a shit in his travel bag. Because you just have to piss him off. You get a title shot.
Yeah.
So I tell you what we'll do is that we'll fly over to his next show, get backstage, you take a big flaming dump in his travel bag.
Dump.
Well, we'll put it on fire afterwards, right? Because I'll help you, of course. And then I'll take a picture, or like a vignette of the flaming poop, and you can call out Rollins. There you go. You're on a WWE pay-per-view, Matt. Well done.
Sorted.
Awesome. Matt for WrestleMania. Can we get a hashtag going? Matt for WrestleMania against Rollins? I think we can get that done. Seth and Trips talk backstage. I tuned out. It was more babbling. Didn't care. That's my thoughts on the entire segment. Natalya and Paige. So yeah, Natalya actually wrestling on Raw. A rare occurrence.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the two women's matches, this was the better one of the two. And
I still didn't watch it.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the better matches we've had. I would be much happier if they did more of this and less of the horrible talking segments. But still, Natalya gets the win via the sharpshooter. That's right, Paige taps out. And word is, she's in a bit of a doghouse, is Paige.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why she's in the situation that she's in. Tapping out on Raw tends to be a way that they punish people for some things that they've said, or if they've got heat backstage. Apparently that's the case. I'm not going to say for sure. That's only what we've heard through the grapevine. All this lot. So, whatever she's done. I mean, you said that there she was telling fans to fuck off and all this sort of stuff.
Oh no, she did like a live Q&A thing on Facebook, and apparently she said something that she meant. Either she told someone to fuck off, or she just said fuck.
Yeah,
and then as a result, like, in comes Scott Armstrong just going, can't say that.
Yeah. Like, that is, you may think, wow, that's quite a small thing. Guys, that's enough for her to get heat for this to happen nowadays. So,
yeah,
that's just all it has to be. So it could be just be that, right? And teach her a lesson. Don't do it again, otherwise you're tapping out again, sort of thing. It's could be along those lines.
But then it's just like, oh, this whole thing that you've been doing, like, this is the one problem, another reason why I didn't care about it, because it's just sort of like, oh, we're going to have you, like, tarnish the revolution and things like that, and just give up on PCB. And it's like, yeah, so she did that. Next Raw, she was teaming with they were teaming as PCB. And then it's just sort of like, what the hell's going on here?
It is quite frustrating, shall we say. It's a little bit annoying that I mean, we've gone through this before. I'm going to talk a lot about the Divas later on, because I think it was more evident in the match that they had later on more so than this one. But certainly there are issues here with this Divas Revolution. And Paige said it herself, there is no Divas Revolution. There isn't. Doesn't matter who you put in there, their philosophy and the way they're thinking about it has to change. And, you know, I could talk about it until I die, you know, until I lose breath and I faint, right? That I could do that, but still, we'll get to that soon. I will faint very soon for you guys. It'll be entertaining, I'm sure. Ryback has a Titantron promo saying he's a lion and Owens is his prey. He tells him it's feeding time and stares into the camera intensely. I'm just happy with him in this promo not sounding as if he's uber rehearsed, which is the majority of his promos nowadays. I didn't think this was too bad, but still. Owens versus Sin Cara. A quick nothing match. That's pretty much all I can say on this particular match. Pop-up powerbomb. Sin Cara doesn't even have the time to botch here, so that's how it shows you how quickly this was over. Fans were dead by this point, really. They weren't giving much to anyone. And like I said, I don't blame them. The show was taking a massive nosedive at this point, you know. You couldn't bring the plane back upright at this point. It was getting bad and it was getting worse. Yeah, it's gone, right? Owens goes to take out Kalisto after the match, but then Ryback comes out for the save. That's it. That's all it is.
Oh no, we're gonna have that as a tag match next week, aren't we?
Man, you're like a mind reader, aren't you?
6-man tag match.
Because those 6-man tag matches, by the way, WWE be loving them, a 6-man tag match. New Day spoke to Stephanie backstage. Apparently she doesn't have time to speak to the tag champs, and she dresses them down, as she loves to do, by the way, saying that she'll send New Day to a place that will make Suplex City look like Disneyland. Yes. Stephanie McMahon for you, by the way. Yeah, there we are.
Yeah.
She tells...
Tarnishing the credibility of talent everywhere.
Tarnishing the credibility of the current tag team champions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The current heel tag team champions as
exactly, well. You know, but still. It's not the first time we've witnessed this, and to be honest, I don't think it'll be the last. But there we are.
No.
She tells them that they'll be wrestling the Dudley Boys at Hell in a Cell, a match, Matt, that has happened 3 times already. It will be the 4th time at Hell in a Cell, I believe. But anyway, regardless of that, it's gone on too long. They've had too many matches against each other. So, and I mean, come on, the Dudleys haven't even been back that long. The fact they've had 3 matches already with the champs is, to me, ridiculous.
It's a joke.
It is a joke. WWE don't know how to buffer this long, and I'm sure that TLC is the end game, which means that they might end up having a 5th match with the New Day for those titles, which I think is absolutely bonkers.
sounds terrible.
Yeah. That I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. Or maybe they just didn't, more than likely they didn't put any thought into it, but still. Susan G. Komen is out next. They have the roster on the Titantron and some of the survivors of breast cancer in the ring. They're all wearing the pink shirts. Cena's on the mic. He praises Boston, and you'd think this would get a warm reception considering it's his hometown, but no. No one likes John Cena. He eventually turns him around. He is one of the best people at doing that, is Cena. And Reigns is in the ring as well. I think it was quite poignant that Reigns was the guy chosen to be on the opposite side of the ring to Cena here. And the other guy that was going to be on the mic in this segment. That meant a lot more, I believe, than a lot of people. You know, you could read into this a lot more than I think people are thinking of it, you know?
Yeah.
That Reigns is the understudy of Cena, essentially. That's the way I look at it.
I still find it funny. I still couldn't believe it. I was like, why is Zack Ryder there?
I know, right? Like
he's in the group on the ramp. And it's like, you're an NXT talent now. Go be a hype bro somewhere else.
I hope he performed on Superstars or something, because if he had just got dressed just so he can go out there for this little bit, that would have been sad. You know, that would have been really sad. But they go and explain that you should buy the pink merchandise to fund or not to fund, depending on what we talk about earlier on, the Susan G. Komen Fund. But yeah, like I said, what stuff we said before, I'm not going to go into it again, but still, make up your own decisions whether or not you want to fund Susan G. Komen. Kane and Seth Rollins versus the Dudley Boys. Kane wrestling in his shirt and tie, which was a big indicator to me that he was going to be doing nothing in this match. And this match was wrestled at a pace that Randy Orton could be proud of. Randy Orton
just slow enough to work.
Yeah, right. It's no sense of urgency or meaning in the match. So I don't know about you, Matt. I kind of tuned out of this match, especially towards the middle of it and going on from there. Kane apparently gets an injury, so Seth Rollins, with his infinite knowledge, handcuffs the man to the turnbuckle. Which, yeah, you want to keep the guy there from going out. Apparently this happened on SmackDown, which, of course, I didn't see, but still, I know what they were going for. But how is Kane supposed to stay in the match and help him if he can't leave the turnbuckle?
That's it. It's like, you're not going anywhere, but how am I meant, like, even if I stayed here, how am I meant to tag in?
Yeah, how is he supposed to help?
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
It's ridiculous.
Apparently just a bump into Kane is enough to break those handcuffs that were put onto him, and he is quickly escorted out with a smile, a deceptive smile, not as impressive as Asuka's smile on NXT, but still of the same ilk, on the thing to say, "Ah, you're on your own." Yes, he may as well got his little pinky up and done the Mr. Evil, Dr. Evil thing. So that would have been. And the fans weren't particularly excited either, to be honest, with all this, because basically the ending of it is you expect Rollins to take yet another loss, which he does. He'd take another pinfall, but the Dudleys go to set up the table. Rollins just drop kicks the table into them, so he loses by DQ. Yeah, there was no pop to be had, shall we say? It was just like, oh, okay, that is not the response that I'm guessing that they. Well, I don't know what response they were hoping to get from this.
I do.
Go on.
It's like somebody's like, he can't do it. It's like, just he can. You're just giving him shit. Performed and like, why aren't the crowd getting behind Rollins? Because you're expecting him to do nothing. It's
along the lines of that. These finishes just aren't exciting in general, anyway, right?
Yeah.
You know, like it's just the bottom line. Like, I don't. I'm trying to get my point across here. I'm struggling, but I don't think this excited anyone. Even when Kane came back and he was in his masked form and he attacked Rollins, and all that stuff happened. You had the Dudleys getting involved in attacking Kane because Kane had attacked them as well. And then Rollins couldn't help himself. He gets himself chokeslammed for a table that he sets up himself, even though he could have gotten away. I just thought that the placement of this on the show, what happened after the match and the match itself, I thought were all tame. To be honest, I wasn't that excited with what happened here. So, and for like I said, for the middle of the show, I was bored. I don't know about you.
Mm.
It didn't excite me.
Definitely.
No. And if anything, I'm kind of done now with this whole... Especially now they've said it, now the match is going to happen. If they come back next week and try to pull the same thing of Kane trying to put the wall over Rollins, they need to evolve the storyline. It's got to a point now that now it needs to go to its next stage. And hopefully they do that next week, but we'll see. They show Team Bella arriving in the arena earlier via limo. An Escalade drives... I'm guessing it's an Escalade. Was it an Escalade?
Something of the ilk.
Yep. A very nice looking car, but more of the van variety.
Big truck sort of thing.
Truck, yeah. And it's containing Team Bad, and they don't like each other. So, yeah.
In true Booker T style, they're women, they don't like each other.
Yeah, Booker T, the prophet when it comes to women on this show. You know? Exactly. That's how. I'm sure it's Booker T's philosophy on women that is booking this Divas Revolution. You found the key.
That's it. They don't like each other. End of.
Booker T's just excited that all of his plans are coming to fruition.
Shuck it, duck it, quack, quack.
So this leads into the major talking point of this. And it's not initially what everyone's going to be thinking. Team Bad versus Team Bella. At the very least, Team Bad are having a match. They've barely been involved in this Divas Revolution as of late, shall we say. They've barely had any matches. Sasha grabs the mic, tells everyone it's good to be back home, and she puts the boss in Boston. The Bellas interrupt her. They proceed to have a back and forth that has none of the same sort of impact that Sasha Banks and Bayley had on NXT. It seemed like they had obviously written something for Sasha to say that had none of the brilliance of the mic work she had in developmental.
Yeah.
And I didn't like what she did here at all. And it's not down to her. She's probably doing what they've told her to do to the best of her ability. And that's the thing, isn't it?
Okay, it goes back to that picture that you've seen going around ever since TakeOver, which is sort of like when you're crying so hard because you have to leave developmental. And it's like, it's so true.
Yeah, it is. Like, it's the bottom line, isn't it? Like I said, I don't think Sasha Banks is going to have a match of that sort of quality for a very long time because she's going to be on the main roster. And that's the crying shame of it there. So, yeah, WWE needs to change whoever writes the script for these women because it's horrible. I'm sure they do not understand or they just don't know how to write it that well. And I'm sure now, more than ever, that this writing team and Vince McMahon in general doesn't know how to use these women in the correct manner. I'm just sure that they're just not capable of it. I think they've shown that they're not capable of using these women the way that they've been used on NXT.
Yeah.
And that's just the bottom line of it here. Now, you may be thinking, guys, come on, we've heard you rag on this Divas Revolution quite a lot. Please don't have another rant about that. Well, for you guys, we're not actually going to rant about that. Because we've talked about the women. We talked about the fact that Vince and this team and this writing team just can't seem to nail down how to make these women special, how to make them seem legitimate, right? They just don't seem to know how to make it work. My problem here is with the commentary team. That three-man booth of JBL, Michael Cole, and Byron Saxton, who has now taken over from Booker T on a permanent basis, it certainly seems, right?
Yeah.
Like, Tough Enough, it ended, months, about a month, 2 months ago now, or month, whatever, weeks ago, and he's not gone, right?
Yeah.
They spent the entire match talking about how talking about the NXT matches and just the Divas Revolution as a whole.
Yeah, there's just sort of like this whole thing is just like there's stuff going on in the ring going, yeah, but this Wednesday you've got Sasha versus Bayley. It's like, but what about what's currently going on? Like, I know that's going to be so much better than what's currently going on, but...
Yeah, they didn't call the match in progress. They must have spent maybe about 10% of their time calling the match. And some of it is very much like, oh, ooh, reactions to hits and strikes that are happening, which isn't calling the match, okay? It's here that I've come to the assessment that Michael Cole is not a play-by-play announcer anymore.
No. I was like, I can't, it kind of dawned on me at one point when suddenly we had, like, Brie doing her Brie mode and sort of her, I want to kind of call it like a shining wizard to the ropes sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like when she did that and suddenly it's like, but I can't wait for Wednesday. It's like, guys, like something's like this is like a high spot, so almost.
Yeah, how are these girls supposed to, they're working against the tidal wave because, they're being booked wrongly, right? They're not being used correctly. And when they try and showcase their moves in the ring, the commentary team aren't showcasing the best of what they can do. The commentary team are too focused in promoting other parts of the show and, other people, right, when they're talking about these things, or having conversations between themselves, which is what they're guilty of doing sometimes. There's no play-by-play announcer on that three-man booth. Michael Cole isn't that guy anymore. He doesn't play-by-play the match anymore. You go back and watch some of the matches when JR was the proper play-by-play announcer. That's what a play-by-play announcer is. They call the match, And part of the issue is how you're treating, with this sort of dynamic that they have on commentary, the commentary is treating the match as if it's not special. They're treating the match as if it's not... Alright, we may as well talk about this other stuff because what's going on in the match doesn't matter. As long as they're doing that, then you're teaching your fan base and your fans, you're educating us that it's not worth our interest in the match. And that's part of the problem that they have here. I don't mind like the odd reference of them talking about something else, but the ratio is completely off. It should be 90% calling the match, 10% talking and referencing the color commentator being heel and all this other stuff. Not the other way round, And it's a vast problem that took away from the match. And we were talking about on NXT Respect, how much that three-man booth added to all the matches on that show. Because they called the matches, right?
But one of them is on... This is one we don't get, as we mentioned this actually on that recording, where it's just sort of like that one of the people guilty is on the NXT broadcast team. Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, one of the big differences, you don't have Vince McMahon in your ear, like blasting down, do this, say this, plug this. So it's not as if I'm blaming Michael Cole here for not doing that play-by-play announcer role, because he's being told, say this, do this, and JBL's being fed all these horrible lines, right?
Yeah.
To say. Fans aren't going to care if you're not calling the action. If you're not treating as if you're interested in the fact that they're doing these moves, then fans will learn, right?
If you're not interested, why am I interested?
Yeah, exactly, right? It's the bottom line of it here. I think it's completely off. I think that three-man booth is the worst now that it's been. I don't think Byron Saxton has changed much because he's too much exactly what Vince wants in that role, right? And I think the commentary is a big problem. Just not just with the Divas, but overall. Their lack of insistence of calling what's going on in the middle of the ring. The amount of times you've heard the wrestlers be on commentary and say, call what's going on in the ring. The wrestlers are telling them. Believe me, they're not the only ones thinking... we're not the only ones thinking this way. I'm sure the wrestlers are like, call me when I'm doing these moves in the ring and I'm trying to entertain these people. Talk about it. For God's sake, call the match. But they're not doing that. And they very rarely do that as a standard now, which is horrendous. I think I don't know why they do it, and I think it's extremely, extremely counterproductive on their side. And like I said, if you disagree with me, go watch NXT TakeOver, because they do exactly what we're telling the main Raw roster to do, and it comes off so much better there. So there we are. I think we can all be agree about. We even said there on our review that we thought that the commentary on NXT was sublime.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it was very, very good. So, furthermore, I hope that Daniel Bryan cringes every time his wife tries to emulate his kicks, because I know I do. They look fucking awful, shall we say. Yeah. Sasha gets the win with the bank statement on Alicia Fox, but the result of this match obviously means absolutely nothing. It's inconsequential, so that's the bottom line of it there. Yeah, a lot of problems with both the Divas and the commentary. It's just you got to see them in one glorious burrito wrapped up as whole in one there. So Charlotte and her first matey Lynch are talking to Renee Young backstage. Charlotte says that she's focused on her title match, and that's it. That's pretty much it.
Done.
These transitional segments are getting smaller and less significant as the weeks roll on. Here we go, Matt, to your wonderful segment that you would love to talk about this week. Ruru and Summer Rae.
Didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it. And I know why you didn't watch it. Because it was bad. Oh, yeah?
I was like, I do not have time for this.
So Summer Rae has a video tribute for their relationship. It would be more touching if the pair of them had chemistry, but still, if it was actually believable. Ruru tells Summer that he initially disliked her, but has grown to care about her deeply. And then the stunning blonde decides that she's going to propose. She gets on one knee, opens up a ring, and says, Ruru, will you marry me? And I realise at that point that the Bulgarian himself has a magical penis for blondes. They seem to go gaga over it. They're proposing to him, so good on him. Good on him. Ruru then says yes, but in doing so he closes the ring box and says, not yet. He needs to have WWE gold around his waist before Summer gets gold around her finger. Yeah. And that's it. Now, I would come up with a joke about this segment, but I would have to electric shock my testicles to stay awake through the show long enough. And believe me, electric shocking my testicles is no laughing matter. Well, to Matt, maybe. He's laughing already just thinking about it, so there's that. Yeah. What about you, Matt? Would you have to electric shock your maybe your nipples to stay awake?
I don't know. I don't think any level of electrocution could help.
No? No, you think?
No. I am so sick of this. I want it done.
Yeah.
I want to treat it like Old Yeller. I want to take it round the back and shoot it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
the most humane thing to do.
just put it out of its misery.
That's it.
Storyline. It's one of those things here where it's just gone on too long. They've had too many. And to be honest, this segment wasn't very good anyway to begin with. But you got Lana getting injured. You've had Ziggler going off doing his movie. There's just been too many stop gaps in this, and it's just gone on too long. And it's time to put it to bed, put it to rest, go wherever you want to go, and just move on from there. So that's the way about it. But yes, let us know in the comments what body part of yourself would you electric shock to stay awake. Myself, it probably would be my testicles. I think that probably would get me awake. But Matt says none. I could put an electric shot up his butthole and he still wouldn't wake up. So
I don't think I can. There's enough electricity around.
No. Oh, okay. John Cena versus Big E in the main event. Well, we all thought it was going to be Dolph Ziggler, but they drag New Day, drag Ziggler out. He's been beaten up. Cena, by the way, with Ziggler not, destroyed, being dragged out. Cena looks like he has absolutely no intention on seeing if Ziggler's okay.
Fucks, I don't have any.
Yeah, I've got a title match to do. I don't give a shit about Dolph Ziggler. And New Day come out and say, well, you told us to get serious. We're getting serious now. And obviously they beat him down until Ziggler... sorry, when I say beat him down, Ziggler picks up with the win with the AA in an okay match. It was alright. And they beat him down.
You mean Cena picks up the win?
Cena picks up the win.
You said Ziggler picks up the win with the AA. I'm like, what?
Could have happened. I don't know. I was bored as hell at this point. But yeah, New Day beat down Cena. Ziggler comes back out for the save, and when I mean save, saving Cena's dentist from missing out on a paycheck as he super kicks him in the mouth. So he saved someone at least, but not Cena. Dudley's come in for the save, and when I mean save, I mean get beaten up.
That's it. And everyone gets beaten up.
Yep, that's it. And the New Day end the show. They stand tall. And this obviously clearly sets up an 8-man tag for next week. You've got New Day and Rusev against the Dudleys, Cena and Ziggler. That probably will be the main event for next week. So you can expect that to happen. Because multiple tag team matches, that's the way it is. Hey, at least it's not the Dudleys going against the New Day.
Tag team match.
Yeah, in just a fresh tag team match anyway. We'll see it for the 16th time by the time that... still... Matt, all in all, this show was like a gigantic pile of turd.
Yeah.
It was smelly.
No, do you know the thing is, I think it's worse than a giant stinking turd.
Oh, really? Okay.
At least, I could flush that away.
Yeah. Yeah, this Raw unfortunately stayed in the memory.
Yeah.
Shall we say. It was badly written. It was badly paced. It was a waste of 3 hours, and I would like to warn everyone right now, if you haven't watched it, don't go watch it. We give this the worst rating that we can, which is just don't watch it. It's not worth your time. Not so much that you can just skip it. No, we actively warn you to stay away from this show. The problem with this show is that, remember some of the horrible, horrendous shows that we had last year? I'm talking about some of the batshit segments that we got with, the bunny, and you've got fucking Hoda and Gifford doing their sort of shit. Yeah, they were horrendous. Almost insulting. But at very least, we can look back at them and just look, what the fuck happened? What was going through their minds? And it'll be memorable, right? The problem with this show is, it's just boring. It's just outright bad. It's not fun because of how bad it is. It's just bad. It's not like some of the shows on Raw last year were like Sharknado, right? In a perverse way, you can enjoy how bad they were. No, you can't enjoy this. You can't enjoy this show. It won't let you. It won't let you enjoy it. And you'll come out feeling more frustrated and, like Solid Monster told us in the interview, angry that he had wasted 3 hours watching this show. And I felt kind of the same way. I know you did, Matt. You couldn't even get through the majority of this show. So, that kind of shows what your fault.
Oh, no, I had to skip.
I don't blame you. If I had known what I had known, I would have skipped the entire show, and I would have just told you guys, sorry, we're not reviewing Raw this week. But, that's sod's law for you.
Well, so I messaged. To be fair, I didn't message you that afterwards. It's like, how long until we could just stop watching Raw? I
know, but one of the things is you have to watch Raw to see how bad it is in the first place. So there it is, guys. This was a stinker. It was a proper stinker. This Raw was bad, and I actually thought that WWE were going to pull their finger out with these ratings drops and start really trying. To me, this match showed nothing of that ilk. It seemed like they were just doing exactly what they've done from all this point. What is it going to take for them to really get worried about these ratings dropping? Are we going to have to drop under 3 million viewers? Is that what it's going to take? It's
definitely going to have to look that way.
Yeah, I think they're on like 3.2 at the moment. Are they going to have to go under 3 million and like break all the records for their company of how bad it's going at the moment for Vince McMahon to finally go, I think maybe I should start working on this. Yeah. I was genuinely shocked the lack of effort overall on this show in general. And like I said, I said to you, Matt, I said the show should be getting better in quality because they should be getting scared at the ratings being as bad as they are, But that isn't the case. And it is a little bit worrying going forward with that. Is there anything else you want to say with Raw before we wrap up for this week?
No, I've got nothing left to say.
Apart from steer clear. Stay as far away as you can. Don't watch it.
This week's Raw can be left in the annals of time, and
it can
forever.
It can electrocute its own testicles. Shall we say? It can do that.
Yeah,
that's what it can do. All right, guys. Yeah, that's it for this show. As we said there, you can look forward to that awesome interview that we conducted with the Solid Monster himself, and that will be coming up on Tuesday. And we hope you guys do enjoy that. We hope you guys did enjoy this show as well. If you did, you can follow us on Twitter, Matt. On what's the Twitter handle?
You mean at Talk Wrestle Pod?
I do mean at Talk Wrestle Pod.
That's it.
You had to think about it there. I'm just making sure you're getting it right. That's it. And also, if you want to join that intro competition, then you can send all those, send all the submissions to letstalkwrestlingpodcast at gmail.com. You can also send us, if you wish to, you can send us questions to that there. We'll be checking that a lot more regularly going forward. And if you want to leave any questions, then like I said, to the Twitter, or you can leave them in the comments section below. If you're new to the show, then please subscribe. We're now over 410 subscribers, guys. We're way beyond where we thought we were going to be at the end of this year. What? Let's say, come on, guys, let's hit 450. Let's do it. Let's hit 450. Only you can help it. We can't subscribe to our own show. You've got to do it for us. It's the one thing we can't help ourselves with, but you can. And if you enjoyed it, then you can hop on the bandwagon. Apart from that, we hope you guys have a great week. We hope you enjoyed that extra episode going up in the midweek. And we'll catch you on Tuesday for that interview.
We'll catch you soon.
Yeah, talk to you guys soon. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
All right.